WVTC Radio Detroit. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, our website, www.wvtcradio.com, or download our WVTC app from the Play Store for Android users and the App Store for iPhone users. Thank you for tuning to WVTC Radio Detroit and the Community Bell Show with your host, former Wayne County Commissioner, Edna Bell. Stay tuned for insightful information Detroiters will find valuable. Text a friend and tell them to watch with you for news you can use. And now, your host, Edna Bell.
Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon, everybody. It is Monday, and we're just happy to be with you. We have our second Monday of the month guest host, and Mr. Ken Scott from Candler Scott and Wallace Real Estate is going to talk to us today about some really, really important stuff that you need to know if you're going to buy a house. And you know, this is a time to buy a house. Interest rates are low. You might want to think about it. It's important. It's important. It's important. And so, Mr. Ken Scott, how are you?
I am doing great. How are you?
I am fantastic. It's even though it's rainy, it's still a lovely Monday because we're around.
Yes, it is.
A lot of folks aren't here, so we're just happy to be here. Thank the Lord.
Very much so.
Happy to be here. We're going to be a witness for the Lord today because the Lord knows He's taking good care of us. And in
Absolutely.
taking good care of us, I want you to talk about what good care you took of the community on Saturday, July the 3rd. It was a wonderful event. Talk about it.
Well, thank you. We did live on Livernois Saturday, July 3rd, from 4 to 7 roughly. Concert started, I think, somewhere around 5:30. And what we basically wanted to do was give back to the community. Like I stated when we were there, it was more of a coming out for us. We had been, what do you call it, exiled into our homes,
Locked up.
what have you, locked up,
Hiding.
the keys thrown away, whatever the case may be. And we did an excellent job as far as just bringing out some people, sharing some music. Yvette Meadows was our featured artist, and she's a songstress, musician, and she had three band members with her. And we were basically just lightening the load for people.
Enjoying ourselves.
Absolutely enjoying ourselves.
It was such a wonderful afternoon, and the weather was perfect.
The weather couldn't have been any better.
Yes, it was just, and people were driving by and looking over and stopping and pulling around and parking and listening and walking by and saying, "Oh, what's that? Let me stop."
Exactly.
And it was just really saw people I hadn't seen in I don't know how long. State Representative Cynthia A. Johnson,
correct. Don't forget the A.
They came by. Love her because she decided she was going to dance, and she said everybody get up and dance. And when she got up and started, the nicest couple, older couple, not older, my age couple, got up and they danced, and it was so good to see people just enjoying themselves. It was really good.
I saw some neighbors, I saw some old friends, I saw some business leaders along the Avenue of Fashion. It was just a beautiful day, like you stated.
It really, really was.
Yeah.
And we give our props to Mike's Fresh Market. He did a great job.
Most people know of Mike's Market, but they don't know the owner, Jamal Abro. And from the time that Jamal started working from Savon's at one point in time, where he was the manager there, to the point where he opened up Mike's Fresh Market, which was the old Farmer Jack's at Livernois and 7 Mile. He has become a staple in our community, and we appreciate him so much because sometimes you move into a building and what have you, and you expect everybody to come your way and whatever the case may be, and you don't have a connection with the community.
Exactly.
One of the things that Jamal has chosen to do was be an integral part of our community. And he has been for all the time that they've been there. I can't even remember when they moved in, but I know what that building looked like once Farmer Jack had exited it. And he has become, like I said, a staple in our community. In the various communities that surround the 7 Mile Livernois area, he has given back to our communities, provided activities, provided events, provided food.
Yes, he gave us the soft drinks for that evening. The soft drinks and some snacks were courtesy of Mike's, and he came over himself, and so it was just really a very, very wonderful evening. Nice to meet people that you had not met, because I had not met Mike before. I knew it his business, but I had not met him before. It was very nice to meet him and hear his story and how he got started and where he got started. And when it was over, I went into the store to get a couple of items. It's clean, it's well stocked, and the prices are right.
Absolutely,
so
absolutely.
It was a good place.
And I wanted to make sure that he was noticed by the community. He's been noticed by the community, but at the same time, I don't think he had received the acknowledgement that he was due. And so I worked with Councilman Roy McAllister in order to get him a Spirit of Detroit Award.
Yes, and
Yeah,
those were very, very, very nice. He
yeah,
received the
because
Spirit of Detroit Award.
absolutely,
You received the Spirit of Detroit Award. Very well
I did,
deserved.
and I
Very
was
well deserved. And
extremely
our
pleased.
yes, our guest
Livonia Perriman.
Livonia Perriman received
Yeah,
the Spirit of
absolutely.
Detroit Award. So it was just really a very, 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 very nice affair. But the entertainment,
Yeah,
Miss Meadows was excellent.
absolutely. Yvette and I have known each other for a number of years. I can't remember how many years, but I know we've done at least 6 events together, 6 or 7 events together. Um, when I had my office up on Livernois in 2016, that was in the midst of a lot of construction going on as it relates to
Yes.
the island. And the day that we had the Rise Detroit's Neighborhoods Day in 2016, she was actually playing at street level. Her and her, I think at that point in time, it had to be 5 or 6 more band members in
Oh, okay.
addition to her. And I mean, they played their hearts out.
Well, they.
And we stopped traffic literally at 7 Mile Livernois because it was so pleasing to the ear. Yeah, we really they entertained people from I can't even remember when we started. I think it was somewhere around 12 to about 3 o'clock.
Wow.
It was just straight performance.
Well, she did an excellent job. She
Yeah,
and her
yeah,
band members, the two guitar players, the bass player, and I
absolutely.
guess you call
The
the
drummer,
tenor, and the drummer. They were just. I was just thrilled. I could have sat there all evening and listened even more. But they were
very
really,
much
really
so.
good. So I'll have
Very
to
much
follow
so.
her. I'm going to have to find out where she's going to be next and
We're
follow
trying
her.
to. We're actually trying to work that out now.
Okay.
So hopefully she'll be featured as one of the artists doing Rise Detroit's Neighborhoods Day up on Jazz on the Ave. Uh,
Okay. When is that? Do you know when
that
that is
is
yet?
Saturday, August 7th.
Okay, everybody, Saturday, August 7th. We'll remind
So,
you,
yeah,
everybody, but listen to, come out and listen to Jazz on the App. It's,
exactly.
you will hear some wonderful music from Miss
Absolutely.
Meadows, Yvette Meadows.
And not only that, Livernois and 7 Mile, or the Avenue of Fashion as it has been historically called, is one of those areas. It's kind of like our Black Wall Street.
Mm-hmm.
You have vendors and businesses and merchants of all kinds providing various services and
Yes.
goods and what have you, where anyone can come up on any given day except for Monday.
Uh-huh.
Come up there and just walk the area.
Yes.
I mean, it is a nice stroll. I was not in favor of what's up there now, but the sidewalk has been extended, so it's walkable. It's just a perfect destination spot at this point in time.
And it's a spot where if you've got visitors to the city, you would want to take them to shop as opposed to
Very
taking them
much
out
so.
to one of those malls. Take them up to the Avenue of Fashion and
Yeah,
let them, they can get anything they would want on Living on
exactly,
7.
exactly. This is our own providing goods and services. I mean,
Exactly.
individuals there are from either the neighborhood or not too far away that are providing goods and services that appeal to our community.
And then if they need a little few words of worship, they can go right down the street to New Prospect Missionary Baptist Church at the corner of Livernois and Pembroke and get their worship on.
Or a few others, but yeah, I got
I
you.
had to throw that in. I just had to
Or,
throw that in.
or they can ride up Cherry Lawn to Pembroke and everything, go to Oak Grove AME.
Yeah,
So
we got places. We got places for them.
absolutely, we have some places of worship. Trust me,
Yes, we do. Yes, we
Detroit
do.
is not short on places of worship. It's a matter of whether they're
That's
going
an
to open up soon.
understatement. That is an understatement. I think one day I was coming from taking the kids to school,
Uh,
and down they go down to the Bates Academy down in Wyoming and Pembroke.
uh-huh.
and I was on. I think I decided to go down Puritan for some strange reason.
Mhm.
I passed 23 churches between Wyoming and Greenfield.
Okay. And those were just the open ones, right?
Yeah. 23. I said, oh my goodness.
Mhm.
Why do we have any crime at all?
Uh, Outreach, but that's another story.
That's not, and we'll talk about that another day.
Very much so.
Yes,
Very
there
much
is
so.
there's a story for that also. There is a story for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Before we get into our real estate piece, let me just tell you about my grandson, Cranston.
Okay.
He is up at Cranbrook for 3 weeks,
Mhm.
upward bound
Congratulations.
program, and the young people get a chance to stay on that campus and learn. And he's taking tennis along with all the other things they get to
Good.
learn, extending their knowledge in math and reading and what have you. But what I do want to say, I'm so glad he's there. I had a little trepidation about leaving my baby up there for 3 weeks because
Mhm.
we can't go see them. They
Okay.
are just there. He's
Okay.
never stayed away from home overnight. I know
Okay.
it's crazy, but our babies don't stay home away from home overnight. He stays in my house
Okay.
and at his aunt's house. Those are the
Okay.
only places they stay overnight. And so this is the first time he's ever been away overnight
Okay.
someplace other than those three places: home, my house, or his auntie's house.
So you
So
having some withdrawals?
he had a little. No, it was probably me having withdrawals more than him.
Right, no doubt.
But he's coming along. It was a week today, but we took him up last Monday. It's a great program, and I'm so pleased that he's a part of the program. It's one of those programs you have to apply for and be accepted. But there are so many children in the city of Detroit who I think ought to be able to take advantage
I agree with
of
you
that kind
wholeheartedly.
of program.
Yeah.
But their parents just don't know.
Parents don't know.
And so I'm going to kind of make it my crusade to start sharing information with community people and with parents so that they can have their children avail of those kinds of services.
Very much
Because
so.
it's a wonderful program. Stay at Cranbrook with all of the arts that they have there and all the facilities, and it's a dorm atmosphere. He's got his own dorm room with his desk and his own. And they got a chance to start to see what college is going to be like,
Absolutely.
and we
Okay.
need to start them early. So
Very much
uh,
so.
he's up there. He's investing well, and real proud of him. As a matter of fact, there's one thing he did tell me. They were in math class, and one of the kids, a couple of them, had not done their math work, and they said, "Let's see your paper, Chris." And he said, "No, no, I'm not going to let you see my paper. Now I'll show you how to do it, but you can't see my paper. If you want me, you want me to help you, I'll help you, but you can't see my paper." I said, "You go, Cranston."
Okay.
My
All
boy.
right. That's good.
Yes, yes, it was very good. Okay, Ken. Real
Okay.
estate. What
Yes.
have we got today?
One of the things that is very important in the process is just getting you credit worthy.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to be putting up a slide pretty soon of the 12 steps to improve your credit.
Okay.
One of the first step is most people are not aware that you can access your free credit report on a weekly basis from annualcreditreport.com. And in doing so, you can do that up until April of 2022. In doing so, you can access Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. Know what's on your accounts. Know how to reconcile the different creditors, account numbers, whatever the case may be. And in doing so, know what's on your credit. Know if you actually bought something.
Or somebody else bought something
Or
and use
someone
your
else
name.
bought something.
That's the
Someone else
important
bought something.
piece.
You want to make sure that it's yours. The debt is
Exactly.
yours. So in identifying that, they identify you through normal means, but at the same time, most of those means include your name, your telephone number, your address, your social security number, of course, your former employer or employer, your previous address or present address, and a number of other factors that may be pertinent to your situation in order to identify you and make sure that the debt that's been incurred is yours. The other thing is you want to know what judgments are on your account, whether they be bankruptcy, whether it be foreclosures, whether it be derogatory collections or whatever the case may be. And most importantly, you want to know about student loans.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look up student loans and what have you, there are a number of entities that have student loans, and they come in a variety of what do you call them, servicers,
Mm-hmm.
variety of how the percentages uh, put in place and what have you. But at the same time, you want income driven. You want your servicer to make sure that your student loans are income driven.
What does that mean?
Income driven means that they're not um, uh, really maximizing your debt to income ratio, where most are doing like a 1%. You want to make sure that it's 1% or less. And in income driven, that's what it allows you to do, is reduce your debt to income ratio per month.
I
So
think
it's not
you need to explain that again now.
okay.
So I've got a student loan.
Okay, your debt to income ratio. Say you have $100,000 and
Mm-hmm.
what have you, and I don't know what you're paying per month and what have you, but at the same time, that can take up the majority of your student loan if it's not income driven. Um, the normal debt to income ratio is 31 to 43%, or 45% if it's FHA and what have you. If you exceed 45% of your gross monthly income, then most banks will not risk loaning you money.
Okay.
Mortgage brokers could lend you money, but at the same time, you're talking about a higher interest rate. And an interest rate is the definition of interest rate is the cost of borrowing money. Right now, surprisingly, I just found out from several lender friends of mine that the rate has gone down again.
Oh,
Uh,
good.
it reached its lowest point, then it escalated over the last couple of months. Then it came back down over the last month.
Okay.
And I'm kind of surprised because I expected it to keep on going up
So
to
exactly.
somewhere between 4 and 5. In a lot of cases, it's still between 2 and 3.
That's a lot of money
That's
savings.
a lot of money saved and what have you. And if you make an extra payment during the course of the year, which is the 13th payment, then
Mm-hmm.
you're bringing down your debt to income substantially.
Yeah.
So you're eliminating at least 5 or so years off of the 30 years that you purchased a home for, the term that you normally purchased a home for. So that helps a great deal.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. It's interesting you mentioned student loans. We get these crazy calls from all sorts of people, particularly people with the Medicare, Medicaid wanting to do
Mhm.
something for you, or the car shield who wanting to insure your cars and
Right.
what have you. But I got a call from somebody that said, um, we can help you arrange payments on your student loans. I said, clearly they have the wrong person. Clearly they have the
Right.
wrong person. I said, well, isn't that interesting? Don't have one. and,
But I
and
want to tell you something.
it's
In
interesting.
regards, yeah, in regards to that and everything, there are certain people that have accumulated student loans well into their later years and everything, and never addressed them.
Wow.
But at the same time, that was the impediment to them buying a home.
Okay. Okay. Well, I
Okay.
guess I
And
was fortunate because when I finished my degree, I worked at Michigan Bell, and they
Mhm.
paid for education. What a wonderful thing!
Absolutely,
What a
absolutely.
wonderful thing! And I only had a year to go, but still, I was fortunate in that they paid for it. That's why I was so surprised when I had somebody call and talk about student loan. I said, no, wrong person.
Yeah. And if you've ever gone to college, whether it be to attain a associate's, bachelor's, master's, or a PhD, then you know that you've accumulated debt over the years. Now it's incumbent upon you to find out how much debt it was and what some of the forgiveness methods are that may be helpful in order for you to eliminate those. So don't just um, you can't forget about them, but just don't put them on the back burner.
Yes, for those who have them, that's a wonderful thing. Just a side note, when I started Wayne State University back in 1962,
Mhm.
my whole semester was $104 for a
Okay.
full load. How
All
about
right.
that?
Can you imagine what it is now?
$104 for that wouldn't even pay for one credit hour now. I don't think.
I don't even know if that would pay for a book.
You're right. Well, and I tell when I looked, my kids were getting ready to go to college, and I was starting looking. I said, "Oh my gosh, you guys have to get some scholarships. You better really work hard for some really good grades, because oh my!" And thank God they did. But I'm telling you,
Exactly. So
rough.
you got to be cognizant of that, and uh,
Yes.
there's so many other things and everything. That's why we wanted to address credit today.
Okay, go. You. That was number one. What's number two?
Okay, number two is I was waiting up the screen to come up, but at the same time, number
Yes,
two is
there it
put
is.
off. Okay, you got it.
Yep,
Okay,
it's
hold on.
there.
All right, great.
Pull.
Number two is pull all three credit reports. It's a soft pull, and this is annualcreditreport.com. But if you were to choose to go to the Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian, then there will possibly be a fee there. But at the
Mhm.
same time, if you go to annualcreditreport.com, what you're doing is getting the credit report free of charge, not the credit score.
Okay.
So number two is for those individuals that want the actual score.
Okay.
So you have Equifax. I've put the uh, what do you call it? Domain
Alpha.
name or the website up there for Equifax.com, Experian.com, and TransUnion.com. And then I've also put the numbers on there to get your credit scores because it's very important to get your scores. And I will go into more depth in that in a moment. Uh,
Talk about before you leave. Talk about soft pull as opposed to hard pull, so people understand what that means.
okay, soft pulls are taken by nonprofit housing counseling agencies, such as the one that I work for. They are done by the banks, credit unions, and other entities, as well as nonprofit agencies like the Opportunity Resource Fund.
Okay.
And they are soft pulls in the sense that when they do it, it doesn't impact your score as much as it would if a mortgage company or a mortgage broker would do it.
Or if a car dealership does it.
A
Talk about
car
those.
dealership do it, but at the
They are
same
horrible.
time,
Hmm.
never go for the two at the same time. Either you want to go for a car or you want to go for a mortgage, whatever the case may be, but keep them independent of each other because if you do the pull for the car and you want a house as well, what that's going to do is raise your debt to income ratio. And
Okay.
that's the last thing you want to do anytime during the home buying process. The other thing, as it relates to both issues, is that if you want a house or you want a car, make sure that you're pulling your credit is being pulled within a 30-day window because outside that 30-day window and what have you, it starts working negatively against you or raising your score, in other words.
Okay.
Okay. Let's go back to the 12 steps. Okay. Number three. There are 5 factors that impact your score. It's the payment history. Have you paid your bills on time? That's 35%. Amounts owed is 30%. How much is too much? C, length of credit history, and this comes into play when you're looking at credit cards, because the longer you have the credit card, the more an asset it is to you. So length of credit history is 15% of your credit score. How old are your accounts, whether they be the installment accounts or revolving accounts? You want to make sure that your credit cards stay open, pay them off, pay them down, but whatever you do, do not max them out. And anything over 30% starts working negatively against you. There's a types of credit, a good mix of installment and revolving debt. You always want to be cognizant of that, because if you have a good mix and what have you, that raises your score. Types or new credit, excuse me, is 10%. Those are inquiries. Are you taking on more debt? And keep in mind, during this time, when we are getting stimulus checks and getting child tax credits and what have you, that excess money that you're getting in your accounts and what have you, utilize that in order to pay down your debt. Don't just go shopping, go on trips, spend freely, pay your rent, pay your utilities, pay your cell phone, internet, Wi-Fi, whatever the case may be. But at the same time, be very cognizant of the money that's going in and out, because that's where budgeting comes into play, and that's where you need to set priorities for paying some of those things off. Number 4, whatever you do, pay your bills on time, because it's the most recent credit that affects your credit standing. It's that 12 months that you paid everything on time. Now, keep in mind when I said pay things on time during that 12-month period. So any time during that 12-month period where you don't pay things on time, you basically have to start all over again in order to achieve that 12-month period. Again, the most recent credit affects you by you paying it off 12 or more consecutive months. It's increasing your score incrementally. And you want to make sure that there's steady increments that are being paid on a regular basis. Number 5, make and keep all payment arrangements within the next year. If you are calling the creditor and you're saying, I want to make arrangements, keep those arrangements. If you don't, then it's going to start impacting your score negatively again. So from this month forward to the same month of the following year, you want to make sure that you pay things on time. And you want to establish a calendar for paying things on time. Because in a lot of cases, what we're doing is when bills come in and everything, we may open it up and everything, but you want to open it up at set amounts of times, set periods of time, where it's the first of the month, whatever the case may be, but you want to open it up as soon as it comes. So any notice that's in there, that you're heeding the response to that particular bill. We have caller ID. Some people use caller ID to block calls or not answer the phone and what have you. This is a time when you're setting those short, mid, and long-term goals. So you want to be very cognizant of what's coming in the mail, what's coming in on the phone line, whatever the case may be, and make sure that you pay those bills on time. So do you have any questions, Edna?
No.
All right, let's go to 6.
Okay.
Pay all your debt within the last year from this month backwards to the same period of time. Because, again, the most recent credit affects you tremendously. And I want to go back to credit cards.
Okay.
Most people have a tendency when they don't have the money or they want to charge everything that they max their cards out. That's the worst thing that you can do. Absolutely worst thing that you can do. And I'll go into more regarding that in a moment.
Okay.
Number 7, maintain a credit score of 640 or higher. That is the threshold for most people to be eligible for someone to pull their credit and be able to be receive a pre-approval letter. If you have under 640, there are certain institutions that will allow you to purchase a home, but you got to look at the interest rate. The cost of borrowing money is the interest rate. Do you want a high interest rate or a low interest rate? And the preference is a low interest rate over a
Absolutely.
30-year fixed.
Yes.
So you don't want to pay more than you have to. And man, I just wanted to bring up another document now that I think about it that would really be pertinent in this situation. And I'll bring this up in a moment.
Okay.
Let's see. Number 8. Again, number 8. Keep all credit cards under 30 to 40% of each credit card's limit. Okay. When you get and exceed 30%, then all of a sudden your credit starts working negatively against you. And don't close your credit cards out. It will lower your credit tremendously. And I'll give you an example. There was a gentleman that said he was willing to do the right thing. He wanted to pay off debt, but the debt was so old. It was 6 years. Well, it was 5 years old. 6 years old is when, in most cases, if there's not a debt that's sold, 6 months, your credit, your bad credit goes away. It's supposed to go away in Michigan.
Okay.
Unless it's resold.
Okay.
And it's resold to another debt collector.
And that cycle goes on and on.
And keep going and keep going. All right. So he was at the 5th year. He decided to pay it off. What he didn't realize was once he paid it off, it had laid dormant for 3 years. When he paid it off and everything, all of a sudden it woke it up.
Oh my.
Okay, so when it woke it up, that debt started hurting him. He couldn't figure out why his score was decreasing after he had paid off a debt that he owed. Normally, the thought process was, if I pay it off,
it goes up.
It'll increase my score.
Yeah.
In this case, it decreased his score.
Wow.
And he couldn't figure out why. He said because it was so old, and that's the reason why I put emphasis on how old the debt is. If it's so old, let it go old.
Okay, let it go, as they say. Let it go. Let it go.
I mean, it's like MGM, Motor City, and Greektown. Let it roll. Let it roll. Don't wake it up. Don't wake it up. But the good thing is that I suggested to him is that, listen, you did the right thing. You paid it off. This is just going to be a little hitch in what you're going through.
Okay.
At some point in time in the incremental future, within 3 to 6 months and what have you, you're going to see it go up again.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Right. It's not going to stay down. It's going to go up because you've relieved yourself of the debt.
Okay.
And that's one thing that I would caution anyone to do. Relieve yourself of the debt. Pay the debt. And if you're in a process of looking for a home, do it 6 months out. Start preparing 6 months out.
Yes.
By then, you'll see the incremental change in your score, and therefore be able to increase your buying power as well.
Excellent.
So we want to go back to, I think it was number 8 was keep all credit cards within 30 to 40% of each credit card's limit. Don't close older credit cards because it will lower your score. Number 9, create a paper trail by paying online or through a checking account, therefore receiving online payment, debit card, secure credit cards from a bank statement, from your credit union, from a bank statement.
So you've got tangible proof that it was paid.
Absolutely, absolutely, and it notifies you immediately every month. Let's see. Number 9, let's see, keep a paper trail. Okay. Number 10, keep your W-2s, your federal W-2s at your disposal. Keep it accessible to you because you're going to need that in order to qualify for a mortgage. And you're going to need, I say, keep 12 months of pay stubs and bank statements on hand. Banks and credit union and other financial institutions are like Chime and like Cash App have statements.
Uh-huh.
What we don't do, we get credits for having online accounts, but at the same time, we don't
Oh,
print off the statements from those online accounts
yeah,
because it's important when you're going through a budget to make sure that you've evaluated and assessed everything properly. You
absolutely.
can't do that unless you have those statements in hand. So I'm going to go back up to number 1 again.
Okay.
Get your 3 free credit reports from Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion from annualcreditreport.com. It's free weekly
Weekly.
from
Okay.
Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. It won't give you the score, but it will give you the report.
And that's important. You know what's out there.
What you owe
Mhm.
or what you don't owe, like you said.
Exactly. Exactly.
Let's see. We have a few more minutes.
Okay.
Instead of going into the next one, next screen, what I'm going to do is see if I can send you this real quick. I want to send you another form. Let's see. Because I think this is going to put everything in perspective.
Okay. And send it to WVTC Radio Detroit at gmail.com.
All right, hold on.
That way it'll go to the station and she can see it right away.
All right, not a problem. So do you have any questions of me?
I know. I thought you were very clear. That was excellent. And I just want to make sure that people start now because I'm sure a lot of people are thinking about buying homes now so that when the kids go back to school in September, if they have to move, if they're going to move, they'll be in the home by the time the kids go to school. But they should start now looking at all of their information and getting everything in place so that they know what they have to do. And if there's something on that credit report that shouldn't be there, they have time to take care of it.
Okay. All right. What's that website again?
WVTC.
I mean the email address. I'm sorry.
WVTC Radio Detroit at gmail.com.
Yeah, there it is. Okay. As this is going to bring it all home.
Okay. You see, you got it?
I got it.
It's coming up? Okay, wonderful.
I just sent it out.
Okay, that'll be great. But it's so important that people have this kind of information. I mean, information is power.
Truly.
Just as I said about the children, parents want to know. They really want to know how they can help their children. And at the end of the school year, of course, the kids got out late, January 28th, but still, no, January 24th. But still, we need to start thinking now about what's going to happen with the children in the fall. You know, the attendance rate was something awful for children.
Absolutely.
It was just horrible. We've got to find a way to help these children. And I don't blame the children for that. I blame the parents.
Oh, no. Well,
And we,
I blame the parents and the school system to the
I'm
certain
that.
extent.
Well, I should say
Yeah,
adults, all of them,
yeah, adults.
everybody who's involved with it. We need to find a way to get the information from the system to the parents, so that the parents know what's going on in the school life of those children. But we need to help the parents understand. Some parents just don't understand. I know if I had to try to figure out what my three grandchildren needed to do to get into their classes remotely last year, they probably would have never gotten in. And when
Yeah,
you think about the number of grandparents that are raising and taking care of children, you
hmm,
can see why the attendance rate was so awful. If they were anything like me, they were having a tough time just keeping the kids um, in a fed and clothed, let alone trying to figure out how to use these laptops and Chromebooks and all of the other kinds of things, and getting into the teams and attendance and sending in a class. You know, the assignment is due by 12:59 tonight, and I mean, it's incredible. When I watch my children working with their kids, I said, "Oh dear, thank you, Jesus, that I don't have to do
absolutely.
this, because they'd
Right.
be in big trouble." So I
Yeah.
think we've got to find ways to help these parents help the children and help them negotiate the system, because that's another issue, trying to negotiate the system. Who do I talk to about what and when, and how do I get to?
Exactly. All right. I think we're ready.
Okay.
And I want to bring this forum up. It's called Credit Score Differences.
Okay.
This is
But
one of the most amazing forums that I've ever had as a tool to document how credit is used.
okay.
This was given to me years ago, and this was when interest rates were extremely high.
Mm-hmm.
So what it's doing is detailing the difference between a person that has a 550 credit score and then the person that has a 680 credit score.
Look at that.
Okay, and the thing is the incremental difference of the interest rate. Again, the interest rate is the cost of borrowing money. So that individual with the 550 credit score at that point in time, and like I said, it was years ago, had
Mm-hmm.
a 9.25% interest rate, where the individual with the 680 credit score had a 6.25. Okay, the mortgage
Wow.
rate for the person with the 550 was 822.68. The person with the 680 was 615.72. Now the reason for
$207 difference a month.
the
Wow.
reason, yeah, exactly. The reason for bringing this up is the annual savings that the person that had the 680 credit score, their savings were $2,483.52 over the person that had the 550 credit score.
Wow.
Okay. Going further down as it relates to credit cards, and it's important when you look at credit cards to look at your interest rate, because under the 550 credit score for the credit card, you had 22% interest rate. On the person with the 680, you had the 6.99,
Wow.
almost 7%. Their monthly interest payment for the 550 was $91.66. However, that individual with the 680 had a monthly interest payment of $29.12, which saved them approximately $750.48.
Wow.
Auto insurance, $2,400 for the 550. And you know, when the interest rates were higher, and then we went through
Yep.
two adjustments over the last year.
Yep.
Now for the 680 credit score, the person with the 680 credit score, they had 1,400. They saved $1,000.
Wow.
Home insurance, 2,500. The person with the 680 saved 1,300 for annual savings. because they were assessed $1,200.
Mm-hmm.
And at the bottom it says total annual savings over 10 years, and total savings over 20 years. Now,
Wow. Oh my gosh.
What it doesn't depict is the average term for a home purchase is 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
So on top of that $110,680, you can tack on another $56,000, and you'd be up to $166,000 you're saving over the lifetime of that home purchase.
Another house.
Another house.
Yes.
House for
Yes.
your kids.
Yes.
Okay.
That's incredible.
Okay.
And see,
and that is very important.
Just that for people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you don't have to say anything else. Just show people that.
Exactly.
Just show them that. That says it all.
For all those individuals that ignored, neglected to pay their bills off,
show
this is where they are. And this is the impediment that they're facing that was self-imposed.
Okay, everybody, look at the credit score differences. We're going to bring this up every time Ken is here, because that just speaks volumes for the whole bit. That's a wonderful way to end the show. $110,000.
You can't do any better than that.
$110,000 over 20 years.
No, 156
over 30 years. Another house, everybody.
Exactly.
Another house or a boat or whatever it is you want
Vacation.
to do. Vacations every year.
Education.
All of that. All of that.
Okay, enough.
And wonderful. Thank you so much. Perfect way. It's an exclamation point for the show today.
Absolutely.
Real estate 101. Don't have any better than Ken Scott.
Sandra, thank you. That was so timely.
Perfect.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Ken.
Thank you.
We appreciate you. We'll see you next month.
Absolutely.
And also remember, everybody, we've got more Jazz on the Avenue coming in August. We'll be talking about it later. But thank you, everyone, for being with us on this wonderful, and it's sunny outside now.
Pay that debt down, please. Pay that debt down.
Yes, pay it down. Pay it down. Right. We'll see you next week. Have a great time. Take care.
Thank you for listening to Community Bell with your host, former Wayne County Commissioner, Edna Bell. This broadcast was brought to you by WVTC Radio Detroit. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, our website, www.wvtcradio.com, or download our WVTC app from the Play Store for Android users and the App Store for iPhone users. If you've enjoyed this broadcast, tell a friend to tune in. We'll see you next Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern to the Community Bell Show, right here on WVTC Radio Detroit. You're listening to WVTC Gospel Radio Detroit.